Oh, good afternoon and welcome to another live show. Just get the microphone in place because it's all in the wrong place. I hope you can use a different setup today, and I've just forgot to put the microphone where it should be. This is day 2 of my campaign to get myself more confident online and working online and doing live streaming. So there are going to be lots of mistakes. Please bear with me because that's what this is all about. I'm trying basically to make sure that I'm online live once a day for the rest of this month while I'm trying to put together lots of other things. Oh, and hello, Beverly, coming up to see me. Welcome. I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the stuff we've been doing on virtual speakers. So welcome, Beverly. So today I want to talk about coping with fear. And yeah, I think I've dealt with a lot of fear, but probably not in the place people expected it to. I've been a professional speaker for most of my life. And if you look at all of the lists online, what are the greatest fears that we have? What do we fear most in life? What we'll find is that public speaking often ends up at the top of the list. Now, the reality is that I never really feared much about public speaking. I started speaking when I was in my early 20s, and my first speech, as far as I remember it, was, and it was an explanation of how an endowment mortgage works. We got to start somewhere. I worked for an insurance company, and that was my first goal, doing a speech like that. And I was a little bit anxious, but I was so excited about doing it, I didn't really get the fear. I'd done some drama training in the past, so I never really experienced a lot of that fear. And 10 years later, I'm speaking to thousands of people and still feeling a bit nervous, but not really experiencing the kind of fear that I got to see when I started to coach people in speaking. And I then started to look at it. What is this fear of speaking? There's lots of books on fear of speaking and how to handle the fear of speaking. And I began to realize, actually, no one is afraid of public speaking. It's not speaking that we're afraid of. What we're afraid of is humiliation, ridicule. I've looked loads of research on this. It's the #1 fear. It is so bad. People would rather commit suicide and kill themselves than face fear of ridicule. So, fear of death way down the list when it comes to fears. But ridicule, the Japanese officers at the end of the Second World War committed suicide because they couldn't stand the loss of face from having lost the war. Kids at school get bullied and humiliated, and they can't stand the humiliation, and so they take their own lives, or they self-harm, or do all sorts of things to handle that. So I think that's the real thing that we're going to do. It's all about humiliation. And getting to start going online and streaming online, I've been nearly 4 years trying to put together an online training course about trans awareness, which is what I do face to face. Love doing it face to face, working with a camera. Oh my God, this fear underneath it all. And it's all about this fear of humiliation. And I have struggled like mad to deal with it. Now, I look back at when I changed gender. Changing gender brought about a huge amount of fears for me. And some of those were very real fears, really serious fears. One of the biggest fears I had was that people would literally attack me and beat me up in the street. And sadly, that actually happens. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans people, people who are emos, people who are goths, people who are Muslim, people who are different, face the fear every day that simply walking down the street, somebody will beat them up, kick them, and put them in hospital. And that's a very real fear. And fear is a really good warning for us to be careful. So when I changed gender, I knew I had to start being careful. I was now a woman. I couldn't walk down the street at 11 o'clock at night because there is a very real fear that many women face, most women I think probably face, that they may be attacked or they may be sexually assaulted just by going to a bar on their own or walking down the street. So we have to take action to avoid those kind of challenges, because fear is telling us, be wary, be careful. So I made sure that when I went out, when I first started transitioning, and even now, I go places that are safe. I don't walk into a bar full of drunken men, because I know if I do that, I am putting myself at severe risk. But the biggest risk I faced when I was changing gender wasn't fear of being beaten up. It was the fear that somebody would laugh at me in the street, that I'd be humiliated, that I'd be laughed about, I'd be poked fun at, that people would just joke about me or even confront me and challenge me about why I changed my gender, humiliating me in front of everybody else. And to be honest, that actually happened a couple of times. But the only way for me to deal with that was to tackle it head on and start to deal with it. And when it came to doing live streaming and video production, I've been facing the same fear. I've been dealing with going live. I've seen lots of people getting on live and having a good time doing it. And they seem more and more confident. And I thought, I have got to do this. I've got to overcome this fear. And so I made a commitment. In fact, I made a commitment last week, and I've been doing some work on Virtual Speaking Pros that some of you have heard about. I talked about that yesterday. Have a look at Virtual Speaking Pros. It's been really, really helpful. I'm one of the trainers on that, talking about storytelling, but it's helped me enormously to get into the practice of working in a closed group, small group, and engaging and talking to other people. I'm on Ladies Go Live later on in this month, on the 25th of August. I'm hosting a session there. And again, I've been working with Lottie and others to improve my confidence. But I thought, if I'm going to go on this show, I've really got to get this right. I've got to tackle this fear. And I'm not alone. I've been looking around at, whoops, small problem with my laptop stand there. I've been looking around at how few speakers are going online, how few speakers are actually tackling this massive transformation that's taking place on the internet of people using video and getting out there and delivering their material live online as well. And I'm looking at all sorts of ways in which we can start to do things, even like run a Toastmasters club online, run a training seminar online. There's all sorts of ways to be able to do this. It's a brand new area. It's absolutely wide open for us to get involved in it. But it has to be first, you're going to face that fear of just talking to a camera, the fear of being on your own in a room and talking to yourself and trying to make that work. Like radio presenters and TV presenters got this. I've even done TV presenting to help me, but this is the challenge I face. How do we make ourselves there? Well, I was looking through some notes on some courses I'd read. I got involved back in 1974 in a course called Mind Dynamics that had been set up by a chap called Alexander Everett and also William Penpatrick, who's the founder of Holiday Magic. And he had a simple philosophy, which I embraced there. And my God, my life took off and I had a hugely successful career in financial services industry because I do this. Do what you fear. Have a look at what it is that you fear. What is the thing that's holding you back? What's blocking you? What's stopping you from moving forward? Face that fear and do it. But there was a second part to his code. It wasn't just do that fear. It's keep on doing it until you are no longer afraid. Do what you fear and keep on doing it until you are no longer afraid. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing live streaming every day. Some people are going to be watching me, which is going to be great. I see Tina Jessen's looking in here now. Hi, Tina. What a to see you looking good and talking a great deal of sense. Thank you, Tina. Appreciate that. Beverly, you really get that fear. It is, isn't it crazy? Isn't it weird? All it is fear that somehow I am going to look stupid in front of people. They're going to laugh at me. And, you know, it isn't that. And Philip, my great friend Philip, who I've competed with on so many occasions. And yeah, I'm sure, Philip, you'll agree. We both felt that fear when we stood up there to do a 7.5-minute speech and try and win our way through to the next round at Toastmasters. And Jamie, I know you've been supporting me so much. Great. We're all doing really well. So I think it's absolutely brilliant. Feel the fear. Do it. Yeah, do what you fear. Keep on doing it till you're no longer afraid. So that's today. I'm just going to try and keep these online things to about 10 minutes, and we're pretty much running up to 10 minutes now. I'm finding if people sort of go on for a long, long time online, and I'm worst at that when I've got a closed group, I can go on for hours. I think it's really, really important to keep things short, nice little short, sharp things, and maybe do 2 or 3 during the day. But today, this is it. Coping with fear, simple thing. Think about the fears that you're facing, what's blocking you, then do it. And do it and do it and do it until It's no longer a fear. Really great to talk to you. Fabulous that you all been looking in. Hope to talk to you again soon. I'll be back again tomorrow at 4 p.m. on this program, just getting it together. Thanks so much indeed. Take care all.